such an influential institution in the whole world. I admired from a distance. In the past, whenever I came, I tried to get a glimpse of Al-Azhar. I just came through just watching from a distance. I didn't dare to enter. I was not familiar where to go. Today you bring me in. I'm here with the students and the faculty and the friends. It's an amazing experience, a lifetime experience for me. I give my greetings to Grand Imam and all the leaders of the university. When you are mentioning all the numbers, these are stunning numbers. I come from the academic background. I know what it means, how staggering those numbers are, how overwhelming the undertaking is. This is a memorable event for me, to see you, meet you physically, and even get a chance to talk to you. It's a rare, rare opportunity. As someone coming from academic world, it's always exciting to be with the students. That's what we do, that's what we live for. And my greetings to all of you, all the students of Al-Azhar who are present here, who are outside, those staggering number of students and faculties all over the world. And among them, there are Bangladeshi students, pretty large number too. Can I see you with the Bangladeshi students? Will you please stand up to see? Wow, these are all Bangladeshi students. I should. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. তাহলে তো বাংলায় কথা বললেই হয় সব। অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ। থ্যাংক ইউ। অপূর্ব সৌভাগ্য আমাদের সবার, আপনাদের সবার সঙ্গে দেখা হলো আজকে। আমরা দেশের সবার পক্ষ থেকে আপনাদেরকে বিজয় দিবসের শুভেচ্ছা জানাচ্ছি। আমি ইংরেজিতেই বলি, অন্যরা বুঝতে পারবেন না বলে আপনারা তো বুঝতে পারবেন। একটু পরে বাংলা বলবো, আগে ইংরেজিতে বলিনি কিছুক্ষণ। It's a wonderful feeling that you could accommodate so many students. I hope more and more students from Bangladesh could come here, and more opportunities will be available to you because you change the world. Coming to Al-Azhar gives you the perspective, give you the knowledge, give you the willingness to do things which is good for humanity, not only in Bangladesh, globally. So that's your role. You are not limited to a particular country. You are limited for your service is for the whole world, for all humanity. I have to catch a flight right after this, so I have to be brief, and I'll try to share my experiences, what I did as a teacher, what I was trying to do, because this opportunity to interact with the students give me this opportunity to share what my efforts were, initiatives were. My experience in the University of Chittagong began 53 years back because Bangladesh became just independent country at that time. I came back from the United States where I was teaching. Bangladesh today and Bangladesh 53 years back are completely different. Bangladesh was the poorest country in the world. That was its title. This is not something make you feel encouraged that you are a citizen of the poorest country in the whole world. 86% of the population of Bangladesh were under the poverty line. And you see poverty everywhere. And that war of liberation made it worse, because all the roads were broken, all the bridges are torn apart because of the war of liberation. People's life became very, very difficult. And as I was teaching, trying to see what can be done to make sure the people who live around the campus are reached out to. Because I was campaigning within the faculty of the university saying, if university is the reservoir of all the knowledge of the world, it doesn't matter where it is located, whether it's in the poorest country or the richest country, university is supposed to be the reservoir of all knowledge. And that's what Chittagong University should be too, as a reservoir of all knowledge. My question to the faculty was, if it is the reservoir of knowledge, should it be just limited to the walls of the university? Or should it be available to the people who live around the campus? That became a big debate. And I was campaigning that knowledge is no good if it is not useful for people. So if the university has knowledge, it must reach out and touch the lives of the people who were around it and beyond. And that's what this whole meaning of having an university. So we're trying to see, I was trying to see, not many people paid attention to it. What can be done? And then terrible thing happens in Bangladesh. Terrible, terrible thing. Worst thing that happened to our life in the history of Bangladesh. In 1974, we were hit by a famine. And Bangladeshi students probably heard about it, but others may not. An enormous number of people were dying of hunger throughout the country. You literally see dead bodies on the street every day. They died not because they had some any disease. They died because they couldn't eat. They didn't have enough to eat. And dying by hunger is the most painful way to die. Death approaches very slowly. The day you die, the moment you die, you cannot distinguish, nobody can distinguish at what point you are alive, at what point you are dead. It's a very slow-moving process. And suddenly, it shocked everybody. That is death by hunger, massive number of people in Bangladesh. And that hit us too in the university. So one of the things I was trying to do, if shortage of food is the problem, people couldn't eat, all I can do at least try to help the village next door to the university campus do not have shortage of food. So my first effort was to make sure there is no shortage of food in one village which is next to the university campus. So I did lots of different things. Then I saw no matter what I did, there's still a large number of poor people in the village who couldn't afford to buy that food, even if they had the food in the village. So I was trying to see how do you do that. One traditional way, give them charity, give them some money so that they'll get some food. And I was wondering whether there's a good way to do that, because religions, most of the religions say that, give charity to the people for good reasons. But I was kind of hesitant, because this is something which doesn't lead to the solution. It only perpetuates the problem. So I kind of took a different decision that I don't want to go by that route. It's a good one, but I don't want to pursue that road. I was looking for something which can be sustainable. Opportunity came, some of experience of interaction with a villager, a village woman. And she was explaining how she survives in a daily way. But in her survival process, she had to borrow money from someone to make some stool. And then the lender, which is the trader, gets all those stools to himself and sells in the market. And he gives the lowest possible price for those stools that the women made for. So she was totally cheated out of the whole deal. So she remains poor, but she struggles hard to make sure she gets a meal next morning or next day. The reason she didn't have the money to buy bamboo, which goes into the stool, I asked her, how much does a bamboo cost? So she borrowed the money from the trader. She said maybe about 50 cents, US dollar wise, or maybe a little more if you are looking for a good quality. I said, what if somebody gave you that 50 cents as a loan, can you pay it back? I said, of course I can pay it back, because I pay him much more than that. So paying you back is no big deal. I thought about it. Should I give her the 50 cents and let her be free from the moneylender, trader? Or she should continue the same relationship and see what happens. So I did give her the money. But I thought about it. Next morning I came back to her. I said, okay, I'll give you the money. The deal is you'll return the money to me once your business is done, and then you can borrow more. So this was the start of something that I continued, because I was so excited that she really paid it back, and I gave her money back again. So I told the villagers. In the meantime, I became very familiar with the village women and village people. I said, if you need money, come to me. I'll give you the money. This is in a circumstances, in an environment where money lenders will give you money, and for that money you have to give away everything. Still your money is not paid back. That's what the money lending practices in Bangladesh and many other countries is all about. Here I am, I'm not talking about taking away everything. I'm just asking for the money to be back, that's all. Whatever I gave is returned to me. People thought, oh, it's so easy. So it became very popular. The more popular it gets, more excited I get. because it helped people. They started doing things and paying me back. Then I thought, this is not my job. I'm a teacher. Why should I lend money to people? This is the job of a bank. So there are several bank branches in the campus. So I went to the bank branch that I'm more familiar with. I told him, why don't you do that? He told me, no, banks don't lend money to poor people. That's not their job. I said, what is your job? So lend money to people who need money, lots of money. I said, that's very funny. You want to give lots of money, but you don't want to give little money. He said, that's banking. I said, that's wrong. That's wrong banking. So I kept summarizing that principle of banking. I still do all the time. It's a very strange principle of banking. The banking principle is very simple. It says the more you have, the more you get. If you have nothing, you get nothing. I said, that's very strange. You have the whole banking structure in the whole world on that principle? It is like that. Still, it's all over the world. I said, banking system is wrong. The first time I became very bold, I started saying banking system is wrong. How should you fix it? I said, very simple. You reverse your principle. The new principle would be the less you have, the more attention you get. If you have more, you have to wait. All bankers laugh at me. That's not banking. I said, that is the banking. If banking has any meaning, it has to touch the life of the people. And touching the life of the people begins by accepting that principle. The less you have, more attention you get. Then bankers said, oh, it will not work. No matter what principle is, but it sounds good, but it will not work. Poor people will never pay back. Then I raised a simple question. How do you know? Have you ever given any money to any poor people? No, we have not, because our system doesn't allow that. I said, then how could you come to that conclusion? Oh, everybody knows that. I said, I don't know that. So I want to practice. I want to find out. So I started doing that and find out if everybody pays back. They said, well, it can stay for a while. They are trying to impress you so that they can get more money. The more money they will get, then they'll stop paying you back. I said, that's your assumption. I will not stop until I face that problem. I will continue. And I continued. As I continued, more and more people came. In the meantime, I started focusing on the poorest people. And the poorest of them are the women. So I said, why don't I start at the poorest level of survival? So naturally went to the women and started doing the women. And it expanded. Then I said, why don't I create a bank, separate, different kind of bank than the conventional way that you see? The idea of having a bank came at that moment. And I started debating with the government officials, telling them, give us a permission to create a bank. Everybody laughed at it. How can you have a bank for the poor people? I said, like the way I do it. Oh, that's not banking. I said, what would you call it? Banking is about lending money and getting money back and running a sustainable organization. It's a business organization. Nobody believed that. Finally, after many years, I got the permission to create a bank. I called it Grameen Bank or Village Bank and continued to expand. And that became a story after that. So this is how an idea came to challenge an institution. The reason I'm telling this story in details, unless you challenge, nothing will happen. The world will remain the way it is. It is the young people, it is the students who can see things more clearly because they are still looking for things. And that's what you are. Looking for things to do. Looking for changing people's life. Looking for changing the whole world. If you stay where you are, repeating the same thing over and over again, the world will remain where it is. And then I came with the idea that I started